Page 26. Sai is deposited in a room full of candles all over the floor and precarious candle stands all over as well. And Sai is thinking to herself, "Took me more than 10 years, but today is the day I get my body back." "Hello, my pet." Sai is looking at Grosvenor, who is, huge and intimidating. I should say a little bit about Grosvenor. Grosvenor is huge. He's intimidating. He's like a quarter orc. He's got like spiky shoulder armor. He's got like a bear paw tattoo thing on his chest. Anyway, so Sai is thinking to herself, "Is this Melik?" "Like the mood. I don't usually do candles, but fire's always useful for corralling animals." "Are you an animal? Some sort of plant?" And Sai looks up and says, "Do I look like a plant?" And Melik puts his finger on her nose and says, "I've seen carnivorous plants that look like futons. Lost many sleeping men to them. Regardless, you're my trophy now, and I need to figure out how to kill and stuff you. You don't like fire, but a charred trophy is no prize to me. So I'll keep you as a concubine for now." And he kind of reaches toward her top, and she immediately switches into full-on blob mode and starts escaping via the floor. He tries to grab her, and she kind of snicks out little claws from her hand and slices his eye real good. And he yells, "You stupid bitch!" And Sai starts shooting crossbow bolts at him and trying to escape along the floor. And he yells, "Stop her! She's getting away!" And Dong Jong and Melanie are coming past. And Dong Jong says, "Stop who?" And one of Sai's crossbow bolts flies past Grosvenor and hits Dong Jong in the side. "Oh, my guts. I'll never raid her again." And Sai, as she's running off, yells, "I was aiming for your sketchbook!" Page 27. Later, Sai is outside the log fort, and she says to herself, "This was a huge bust. I'll just hunt down Melik on a continent not known largely for exporting death. What the hell was he even doing here?" And we see Melik and Eli at the top of Mount Guffin, and there's a ha-ha-ha-ha, hee ha-ha-ha noise coming out of the Geiger counter, the Guigar 3000. And Melik says, "This whole mountain is covered in uranium. This is too easy. I could be the Minister of Energy. Hell, I could be the President." And Eli says, "Good, because I'm charging you double to lead you home." And later still, we see Melanie waiting by the hospital bed, the makeshift hospital bed. They're still in the log fort of Dong Jong. And Dong Jong slowly starts waking up and says, you stayed by my bedside when I was wounded? You're the best slave ever." And then we see that Melanie has been handcuffed to him and is super, super displeased. And then later stiller, we see Melik, now wearing the white cowboy hat and white suit, pointing to a artist's rendering of a nuclear power plant and saying, "The first of my top 3 priorities is to break ground on our first nuclear plant. Next, I'll buy a suit that does not make me look like a gay cowboy. Third, I've got to give an airship to a sociopath." Page 28. Melik and Billy are back in Melik's office, modern-day President Melik, and Melik says, "And that's how I got to be president and gave an airship to the man that's going to capture the royal family." And Billy says, "What? You just yelled at me and then stared at the wall for a half hour. How is that how anything happened?" And Melik says, "Never mind. Sheila will be bringing Grosvenor here and we'll finalize our plans." "Who? When?" And Sheila, who is a pink-haired woman in a business suit, pokes her head in the door and says, "Mr. President, Mr. Grosvenor is here per your summons." Melik says, "Come on in." Sheila says, "Thank you, sir. I carry some urgent intelligence on the whereabouts of Princess Jackie." "Excellent." And Sheila says, since Mr. Grosvenor... And Grosvenor cuts in and says, cut out the lawyer talk. It's Grosvenor. Just Grosvenor. And Melek says, Sheila isn't my lawyer. Billy is. And Melek looks at the briefcase that Sheila's carrying and says, so what's with the briefcase? And Sheila opens it up, and there's like 5 knives in there, along with a folder with some papers. And Billy says, it also has all my legal papers in it. I'm not allowed to carry them around after accidentally leaving them on the bus once. Page 29. So, Melek says, we've already captured the king and queen. At this point, there's still some minor royalty running around, and I'd like to tie up those loose ends. We're going, and Billy says, we're going for the 100% complete ending. And Melek says, we currently believe Jacq Kepler and his daughter are traveling north out of Rome together. And Billy says, and I've inferred that you're here to catch them. So Melek continues, sure, I have troops I could send after Jacq Kepler, but I understand you may be more motivated than most men. In the background, we see Sai in owl form land on the window behind them. And Billy says, why? And Grosvenor replies angrily, only 5 years ago, child import-export was the focus of my portfolio. The entire raider economy is built on it. Then Jacq Kepler gets appointed Roman Minister of Child Services. With the stroke of a pen, he shut down every children's sweatshop in Rome. But a photo op wasn't enough for him. He crossed the world, pressuring other governments to match Roman policy. When some refused, he began smashing their sweatshops in the night. These days, I can't give child laborers away. Now look at me. Thanks to Jacq Kepler, I've got warehouses full of child-sized manacles. Rusting! And he slams his hand on the desk. Page 30. Melek is looking over a piece of paper, or actually several, and Billy says, anything good in the report? Meanwhile, Sai, in owl form, is still in the background. She has a little baby stethoscope, or maybe owl-sized stethoscope would be more accurate, pressed against the glass. And Melek reads aloud, so then the princess says to me, she says, Ollie, you're too fast and brave, and I can't run no more. It seriously just goes on like this, for pages. And Grosvenor says, don't you see what this is? A bunch of gibberish? Jacq Kepler's playing you for fools. His daughter isn't with him. She's not? No, she's headed south. And Melek says, there's no way she escaped the city alone. Grosvenor slams his finger into Melek's nose, not in the gross way, but like in the pointing at his nose way, and says, she's not alone. Just read your soldier's statement. Then a giant monster made of blades and tentacles flew in and attacked me, and I fought it as best as I could, but it took the princess. And Melek says, there's no way this man is reliable. After what he's seen, no man would be reliable. And Billy Esquire asks, well, what did he really see? And Grosvenor says, the one person I hate more than Kepler is his shape-shifting buddy. And Billy goes, a shapeshifter? I'm going after her. Melek says, Jacq Kepler is the priority target. Is he? That shapeshifter can be anyone, anytime, anywhere, except right now, when we know she's stuck protecting a 14-year-old girl. I'll kill the doppelganger, capture the girl, bait Jacq Kepler, and bring him to you. And Melek looks at Billy and Sheila and says, what do you two think? And Billy's just smiling, and Sheila says, I don't want to fight a shapeshifter. And Melek says, looking back at Grosvenor, so that leaves the matter of payment. Payment is simple. I keep the girl. And in the final panel, we see Jackie and Marbles crossing a stream, Marbles hovering over the water, while Jackie, carrying her revolver shotgun, walks across a fallen log. And Chapter 2. This has been Joe Hills dramatically reading Chapter 2 of Jacq of All Blades by Joe Hills and Art Frederick. If you would like to leave a comment, please do not feel ashamed or afraid or scared of giving us feedback. We thrive on it. This whole thing is an experiment, and we would love to hear from you about how you felt about it. If you are blind, your opinion is especially valuable. If you could please say that in the comment, that would be great. If you could also mention whether you had lost your sight or whether you had never been sighted, and whether or not you had read comics in the past, that would help us to optimize this format for you, because we want to give you the experience of reading a comic, not just a book on tape. And so I'm still trying to experiment with the comic elements, the sound effects, the stage directions, whatnot, and we're really hoping to find a good mix for you. But, we need feedback because we don't have that experience, and your opinion, your feedback is super valuable. Anyway, so until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring.